Hello students, welcome to the channel. In this video, we'll solve the third English passage of the April 2018 ACT Form A09. Pitch Perfect. Even at age 7, Mozart presented audiences with his musical talents, including the ability to identify accurately any note he heard. Which choice most clearly indicates the audience's reaction to young Mozart's musical talents? So I have Mozart presented audiences, aimed to entertain, appeared before, and dazzled. And the one that most clearly indicates the audience's reaction is the word dazzled. Mozart dazzled audiences, which is to say that he deeply impressed them with his ability to identify any note he heard. So D should be my answer. To present audiences does not really give me any indication of the audience reaction. So option A is wrong. To aim to entertain also does not tell me how the audience has reacted. And similarly, to appear before doesn't tell me that. So D. This aptitude, recognizing notes without aid, is called absolute pitch. People with absolute pitch usually possess related musical skills, such as being able to sing any requested note perfectly. Now, here my main sentence is, this aptitude is called absolute pitch. And this part, the fact that recognizing notes without aid is what we are talking about, this part is additional information. So when I have additional information in a sentence, I need to put it between a pair of commas or a pair of dashes. So if you look at the options, the option G does that perfectly. This aptitude dash, recognizing notes without aid dash, is called absolute pitch. Now, the way it was written, I was starting with the comma, but closing with the dash, and that's not correct. Similarly, here, I'm starting with the dash and closing with the comma, also not correct. And here I'm starting with the comma, but I'm not closing that comma. So this is also wrong. The right answer is G. People with absolute pitch usually possess related musical skills, such as being able to sing any requested note perfectly. Now, this is a complete sentence. It's an independent clause. So I'm starting it after a full stop, so that makes sense. Now in B, I'm saying this aptitude is called absolute pitch, and those people with absolute pitch. So this is redundant because I'm already saying people with absolute pitch. So option B is wrong. Now here, I'm trying to join two independent clauses with a conjunction and, but then I should have a comma as well, right? Because when I join two independent clauses with a conjunction, one of the fanboys, where F stands for, A stands for and, N stands for not, B stands for but, O stands for or, Y for yet, and S for so. So when I use a comma with these, that is when I can join two independent sentences. So C is wrong. And here I'm simply putting a comma between two independent clauses, and this is a comma splice error. So the right answer is option A. For decades, the fraction cited in scientific literature has been that only one person per 10,000 has absolute pitch. Now, the fraction cited, there are two problems here. First of all, I need to say cited, C-I-T-E. To cite something is to quote something. So the number that is quoted or that is referred to or that is cited. S-I-T-E comes from the word site, like a place, the site of the massacre, for example. So any option which has S-I-T-E-T is wrong. Now between figure and digit, I will say figure because that's what a number can be referred to as. The figure cited in scientific literature has been that only one person per 10,000 has absolute pitch. Digit refers to just a single digit, right? And that wouldn't make sense because I'm not saying that this is the digit that is referred to in scientific literature. So the answer is H. Such rarity renders absolute pitch so wicked sweet to scientists, many of whom have long suspected that the ability has a genetic basis. So just the way it's written, you can see that it's wrong because wicked sweet, number one, it's way informal, and this is not how you're supposed to refer to scientists approaching something. Now, such rarity renders absolute pitch a problematic phenomenon that presents a captivating conundrum. This is too long, right? You don't have to say that in so many words. Your answer should be concise. Such rarity renders absolute pitch all the more fascinating to scientists, many of whom have long suspected that it has a genetic basis. So this is a good answer because it refers to one aspect of absolute pitch that makes it interesting to scientists. And such rarity renders absolute pitch totally nifty. Again, nifty is highly informal. Nifty is something which is good, which is striking. So it cannot be used in the context of formal passage. So the best answer is C. Absolute pitch appears to run in families after all. And in 2009, a team led by geneticist Jane Gischer found positive correlation between specific chromosomes and absolute pitch. On the other hand, psychologist Diana Deutsch, in arguing that language is key to a person's chances of having absolute pitch. Now here I need to complete this sentence, right? I'm saying the psychologist argues that language is key to a person's chances. So if I say in arguing, then the expectation is that something will come after pitch. So option F is incorrect. Psychologist Diana Deutsch argues that is fine because that completes the sentence. If I say psychologist Diana Deutsch, she argues, then I'm breaking this sentence. And the part before the full stop is not a complete sentence. So this is wrong. And if I say psychologist Diana Deutsch, who argues, then again, I'm creating an expectation for something to come after pitch. And there's nothing there. So this is also wrong. G is the answer. Deutsch found that people fluent in tone languages such as Mandarin, where a word conveys different meanings depending on the pitch in which it is spoken, were much more likely to have absolute pitch than speakers of English and other non-tone languages. One of Deutsch's studies paraded that more than 90% of music students fluent in a tone language had absolute pitch. Now I need to say that one of Deutsch's studies came out with this result, right? That more than 90% of students fluent in a tone language had absolute pitch. So parade is not the right word in this context. To parade is to kind of to show off. That's one meaning of parade. And that's not what we are saying here. We are trying to say that this is something that came out of her research. Okay, we don't use broadcast to talk about the results of a study. Broadcast is used in the context of television or any medium where data is sent out to a large number of people. Showed is correct, right? Her studies showed, one of her studies showed that this was true. So this is a good word. And to bear is to basically unveil, right? To reveal something that's hidden. So again, that's not the correct usage in the context of a study, a scientific study. So option C. Clearly, that's dramatically higher than the previously mentioned statistic of 1 person per 10,000. Here, you are saying that one of Deutsch's studies said that more than 90% of music students had absolute pitch. And that's dramatically higher than the previously mentioned statistic of 1 person per 10,000. So now I need to choose the right connector here. So clearly is a good connector because I'm comparing the 90% music students with the earlier mentioned figure. So this is right. With this in mind as a connector would mean that somebody takes something into account when making a decision, right? So that's not right for this sentence because I'm comparing two data figures. As a result is not correct because this is simply a comparison. This is not a result of what has been said in the previous sentence. And besides means in addition. So that's not correct because this is not an additional piece of info. This is a comparison of two figures. So the right answer is F. Given that all the choices are accurate, which one most clearly suggests that the ideas about the prevalence of absolute pitch are changing? So if I say previously mentioned, then that just says what the passage has said earlier. It doesn't talk about the idea of the prevalence of absolute pitch changing. Now, often referred to also doesn't mean that the idea is changing. It only says that this is something that is common, that is something that is referred to. So this is not indicative of change. Once accepted, yes, once accepted would mean that it was commonly once accepted that only one person per 10,000 had absolute pitch. But that seems to be changing because now researchers like Deutsch have said that it's far more common. So this indicates that the idea about the prevalence of absolute pitch are changing. And infinitesimal refers to this statistic, right? It doesn't tell me that the number is changing. So D is also wrong. Option C is the right answer. Deutsch suggests that children learning tone languages develop the ability to associate pitch with meaning, which is analogous to someone with absolute pitch associating a pitch with the name of the note. So Deutsch suggests that children learning tone languages. So the first thing is I will not use a comma between suggests and that. When I use a verb followed by that, then I don't put a comma between them. So option G and option J are wrong. And I can't put a comma before learning and after languages because that would make this part additional, which is to say that I can remove it from the sentence, but I can't, right? Because I need to say children learning tone languages develop this ability. I'm not saying all children develop this ability. So this learning tone language is essential to the sentence. It's not additional information. So this is wrong as well. The right answer is no change. In early childhood, as the brain goes through a phase of development during which it is primed to learn language, which can likewise be able to learn absolute pitch. In early childhood, as the brain goes through a phase of development during which it is primed to learn language, the brain may likewise be able to, right? I need a subject here, right? And that subject can be the brain. So this is the best answer. Which can likewise does not have a subject. So this is wrong. To does not have a subject. So this is wrong. And if I delete the underlined portion, the part after the comma will again not have a subject. So this is also wrong. The answer is B. If a child is studying music during this particular period, that further increases his or her chances of developing absolute pitch. At this point, the writer is considering dividing the paragraph into two. Should the writer begin or not begin a new paragraph here, and why? Okay, so far we have spoken about Deutsch and children's ability to associate pitch with meaning and the development of the brain in early childhood. And then I'm saying, so let me come back to this. I'm just going to finish the rest of the questions and then decide. If a child is studying music during this particular period, that further increases his or her chances of developing absolute pitch. As for the dismal chances of learning absolute pitch as an adult, the odds aren't good. There has never been a proven case of success. Now, if I'm saying the dismal chances, I'm already saying that the odds aren't good. So this is redundant, right? So this can't be correct. As for learning absolute pitch so that it is something you have acquired, no, this again is redundant. I can simply say as for learning absolute pitch as an adult. As for a grown-up learning absolute pitch, okay, no, I'm saying as an adult, so this part is redundant. As for acquiring absolute pitch as an adult, yeah, this doesn't have any redundancy, so this is the best answer. The odds aren't good. There has never been a proven case of success. So the way it's written is fine, right? Because when I say the odds aren't good, a colon tells me that the sentence will speak about how or why the odds aren't good, right? That there has never been a proven case of success. So the colon is perfect there. Okay, if I put a semicolon, then I can't say and, because a semicolon would tell me that a new sentence is starting. So the conjunction will not make sense here. Okay, I can't have a comma here because the odds aren't good is one independent sentence, and there has never been a proven case of success is another independent sentence. So joining them with a comma creates a comma splice. And this option J creates a run-on sentence. I need to have a punctuation here to indicate why or how the odds aren't good. So the best answer is F. Okay, I don't think I would break the paragraph into two because I'm still talking about the ability to learn absolute pitch, right? So let's see the options. Begin a new paragraph because the essay shifts at this point from focusing on children and absolute pitch to focusing on adults and absolute pitch. No, I haven't shifted to adults directly. I'm still talking about children in the next line. Begin a new paragraph because it would separate the ideas about language development and absolute pitch from the essay's conclusion. So the essay's conclusion is right here, but I don't think that the conclusion necessarily has to start here, because when I say if a child is studying music during this particular period, I'm still referring to the previous part, right? So this entire paragraph is kind of a concluding paragraph. So no. Do not begin a new paragraph because doing so would establish a link between early childhood music education and absolute pitch. Okay, so beginning a new paragraph, they say, would establish a link between early childhood education and absolute pitch. And that's not correct because this is already talking about the link between early childhood and absolute pitch. So breaking the paragraph would not establish a link. So I don't like this. Do not begin a new paragraph because doing so would interrupt the discussion of childhood influence on absolute pitch. Yes, so that is true because if I break the paragraph, then I'm basically breaking this discussion. So yes, J is the good answer. Question 45 asks about the preceding passage as a whole. Suppose the writer's primary purpose had been to equally consider Gitscher's and Deutsch's theories regarding the reasons some people develop absolute pitch. Would this essay accomplish that purpose? Okay, so is the author considering the theories equally? The author does present what Jane Gitscher said, but it only presents that, right? It doesn't really delve into the details of that theory. But with Deutsch, it actually gets into the details and says, that the numbers that come out of Deutsch's studies show that views about absolute pitch numbers are changing. So I think it doesn't give equal credence, right? So if the purpose was to give equal credence, then no. It explores Deutsch's theory more thoroughly than it does Gitscher's, right? So it is C. No, because it displays a bias against Deutsch's theory, preventing a balanced comparison. No, it's not biased against Deutsch's theory. If anything, it shows a positive view of Deutsch's theory. So D is wrong. The answer is C. Hope this exercise was useful. If it was, hit like and subscribe to the channel. Let me know in the comment section what other videos you'd like me to upload. I'll see you in a new video soon. Take care. Bye-bye.